Hello, everyone. I appreciate that introduction. I really do. I know this is kind of a unorthodox occurrence, meeting, gathering, but I am honored to be here. And the reason I'm honored to be here is because, as I always like to say, people don't have to allow you to invade their space. This is a fact. And so for you all to allow me to invade your space in this gathering, for your coordinator and members who have put this event together here on this riverfront, in this city, at this amphitheater. It's amazing. I am coming through for a reason. I am here for a reason. Some of your coordinators are already aware. Some things had to be rearranged for me to be here today, as we just had a loss in our family. One of our siblings, our brothers, succumbed to an illness that he was struggling with back in Atlanta, and I was, really unaware of all of what he was going through. My brother was going through, but unfortunately, by the time I really got wind of all of the details as to how he was suffering, he eventually succumbed to that suffering. And so I come with kind of a heavy heart, because another member of our family is lost. But I also come, with a blessed heart. I say, heavier than I say blessed because I know what it feels like to lose something, as I'm sure most of you all do. Our family knows what it feels like to lose a loved one. We lost our father about 5 plus years ago, and it was because of him and my mother that both sides of our families were able to not only come together but to be family, and to be so loving of one another, so cohesive of one another that tribute had to be paid to them both for 30 plus years. Although our patriarch, the man who would always have events, cookouts, gatherings, he's gone. But the mother, the matriarch, is still here. So coming with both a heavy heart and a blessed heart, because you still celebrate not only the life of loved ones that are no longer with us, but you also celebrate the life of those loved ones that are still with us. And so coming from the funeral we had just the other day, it was a blessing to see a lot of my family present that I hadn't seen in quite a while. Even some friends I hadn't seen in quite a while. And so I appreciate again, that the coordinators, understood the urgency of what I had to do, but they were still willing to accommodate, me being here today. So I hope I didn't throw the schedule off too much. But you all, if we could just bask for a moment in this beautiful weather up under these beautiful gray blue skies. Oh my goodness, this is it's a beautiful amphitheater, and what I like about this amphitheater is that I literally am at the base of it, and you all are above me. Most platforms that I've been fortunate to grace, it's the other way around. You're on the platform as the speaker, deliverer, messenger, whatever you want to call me, and everyone else is kind of beneath you. And I know the reasons for that. Is so everyone can actually see the one presenting what needs to be presented. But if we can just kind of parallel that to life, many of us, we've been in situations where yes, everyone was looking to us, was looking at us because we were in a position to be seen, whether it was through your success as a person, as a business owner, as a graduate of an illustrious college, as a leader of the family, so forth and so on. people tend to look at you because you're in a position to be looked at. You're kind of elevated. So it's just ironic. I'm at the base of this amazing amphitheater right here on this river walk or riverfront establishment, and I'm looking up to you all, and I actually like this. I like it because, for one, it helps me keep my posture from looking down or straight, but instead looking up. But I am just pleased to be here. I really am. Coming here while leaving, from Latonia, Georgia. That's where the funeral was held of my late brother, our late brother. I had a lot on me already, even heading to the funeral early Saturday morning, and battling, some things that, I've been battling a long time, but then you have to battle things that are on the exterior, that are outside of you. And so in my long, distance travels, it really gave me a chance to not only, to work on your thoughts, to think on how to navigate this, how to navigate that, what's going to come out of this, what's going to come out of that, if this was ever meant to be, or if this is just a stumbling block along the way, I can go on and on and on. But it was a lot of weight, traveling to the funeral the other morning, not knowing how I was going to react, respond when I got to the church where the funeral was being held. Not knowing how certain members of the family were going to react. Me getting there when I got there. Just a number of emotions. Then I was dealing with things back on the home front, back in North Carolina. That were on the exterior as well as the interior. So I come, when I say again, I come with somewhat of a heavy heart, but also a blessed heart. And so being here today at this hour. I again want to thank all of those that worked things out for me to still be here in light of the death in the family, and I hope that it will not be a waste for you all rearranging to have me here, and in doing so, I hope that this message will not only penetrate you to your core, but it will penetrate you in a way that you have no choice but to be reminded of it, because it will leave it will leave a scar. It will cut you, in other words. And any cut that any of us have ever had, depending on the severity of that cut, there's always a reminder, a scar that does not go away. And I'm not talking about Neosporin, a little bitty paper cut where Neosporin can just remove it within a matter of days. My wife back in North Carolina, she'll put Neosporin on everything. A cut, Neosporin. A mosquito bite, Neosporin. She has a headache, Neosporin. I'm just playing. But no, I'm talking about a cut based on what I believe I've been blessed to come and deliver today. I hope it will cut you. I hope it will prick you. And afterwards, I hope that the scar forever remains with you as a reminder. I think most of us have scars. But nonetheless, those scars that we have that once were more of a hindrance because there was still pain involved. Those wounds now become scars that no longer bring pain. We no longer feel pain from those once upon a time fresh wounds. But what tends to happen is now that wound that has become a scar now serves as a reminder of that which wounded you. As a matter of fact, since we're speaking on scars, back in North Carolina, I have an organization called For Wandering Kings. And what we do and what it is simply an outreach program, a retreat program that finds, various men of various statures. And one of the premises of our movement is respect not only the crown, but respect the scars. Respect not only the crown, but respect the scars, because both go hand in hand. There's no crown if there are no scars. There's no crown if you've not been able to endure the wounds that have caused the scars that have led to the crown. So the crown is to be respected that any man adorns in his life, his qualities, his successes. But please never negate the scars, the failures, the mistakes, the mishaps. Respect not only the crown, but respect the scars. They go hand in hand. Whenever I see a man in particularly, not negating any of our women, our queens, but since our organization is steered towards the wanderers of the land, these kings that are not even aware of their kingliness. We tend to delve deep, if they allow us, into the deepest crevices of their own experiences. Their failures, their addictions, their struggles, their vices. Their lives. And once we have an idea of those scars, we then try to show these wandering kings that you have strength. There's strength in your scars, sir. There's a building of and off of these foundational scars. Not that we brag on these scars, not that we want these scars. Many of these scars are deeply rooted. But there's a crown if one can endure, if one can overcome that which has scarred them throughout their lives. So I'll say it again, for once has it been spoken, twice told that it may be heard. We not only respect crowns, we respect scars. Some of us, as kids, we had bicycle accidents. I know I still have wounds from bicycle accidents, or scars, I'm sorry, from those wounds that I suffered many years ago, riding bikes, playing sports, pushing the trash can, the bag of the trash can down many years ago. I know you guys are probably like, what do you mean pushing the bag of the trash can down? I don't know. I think I was about 11 or 12, and my job was to take the trash out that particular day. So while pushing down on the bag of the trash can to try to compact the trash, there was a piece of glass that was broken inside. So I pushed it down, and boy, it did a number on my thumb. I still have the scar now, even as I'm talking to you all. I still see the scar, and that scar always reminds me to, be careful when you're pushing trash cans down or pushing the bags of trash down to compact the trash. You better use a barrier or some sort, cardboard box, or maybe even your foot, but don't, be a little more cautious when you use your hands. So my whole point is, again, we have wounds. All of us have wounds that eventually become scars, and the beauty of the actual scars is that they serve as reminders, So anyway, some of us have scars from bicycle accidents, sports accidents, doing stupid stuff accidents, you name it, we probably have it. But again, looking up at you guys in this amphitheater, wow, I don't know if I'll be the same after this, being on other platforms or stages where the norm is for you to be elevated as the speaker deliverer and others to kind of be below where you're located. I like this, and it gives me a different perspective of things. So this won't take too long, but I just want to, before we go into this message, if everyone could just take a moment. I mean, seriously, this weather is just astonishing. It's amazing. I'm an outdoors type of guy when the conditions are right. You're not going to find me outside if it's 95, 90 plus degrees for the most part. But it's this type of weather. My mother knows this all too well, that fall is my favorite time of the year. And as we are slowly but surely being introduced to the fall season. I just want everyone, if you don't mind, just to sit for a moment. I know you're already sitting. You're like, why is he saying sit when I'm already sitting? But sit in your mind space. Let your mind rest for a moment. Let your mind be at ease for a moment, please. You again have this amazing amphitheater. You have this river right behind us, the Savannah River, if I'm not mistaken. And I want you just to sit your mind for a moment before I dive into to this message that hopefully will open up closed minds, will hopefully help individuals to navigate what you are having to navigate, but also hopefully to celebrate those who have navigated and overcame and came out on the other side of whatever it is that you've come out on the other side of, In this audience, I'm sure there are students that are in college. I would assume there are parents. As a matter of fact, when I call your title, if you don't mind, just either clap or make some noise or snap fingers, do something. I don't know if snapping fingers will work. This place is pretty big, but I'm assuming the acoustics will allow you to be heard. So just, if you don't mind, just make noise if I call out your title, that which you are categorized as, whether it's a mother, a father, a brother, a sister, a student, an entrepreneur, a general laborer, a coordinator, a coach, a teacher. I'm already giving them all, huh? So, but just giving you all examples. So if there are any teachers in the audience, just make some noise. Okay. All right. If there are any mothers in this audience, just make some noise. Mothers are going to always make noise because they're the ones that actually had to labor to produce all y'all. All right. If you're a father, make some noise. If you're a student, you can be a student at one of the local universities here, high school student, even if they're middle school students, maybe even elementary students, make some noise, Any coaches of any sport, any coaches in the space, not in the room, but in the space. I think I said room earlier. Any coaches? Okay, male or female, yeah, young or seasoned. Awesome. This may touch some nerves a little bit, and some of y'all may be a little reluctant to acknowledge this, but I have to ask it, okay? Any believers in the seats? Any believers in this gathering? Meaning faith walkers, Christians, if you want to call yourselves that, followers of Him. Yeah. Don't worry, I don't want you all to be overwhelmed. You're saying, okay, now this may be, like on a Sunday, when we normally are sleeping in, some of you all, and some of you all have already probably gone to church or what have you. But I had to ask that question because I was just curious as I asked those other questions out of curiosity. Okay. Yeah, as I was, again, traveling down, thank you all for your participation, but as I was journeying, like I said, to Lithonia, Georgia, for the funeral, my mind was going all kind of places, good places, challenging places, trying to figure out certain the things that are apparently trying to impede my progress, and so it was a battle. I'll just put it like that. It was a battle. There were ups and downs, rights and lefts, lights, bright lights, and then dark spots. There's a number of things. But this was a thought that came to mind as I was just asking you all some of the questions and honoring some of you all that have, or celebrating some of you all that have went through whatever it is that you were going through and persevered, whatever you needed to persevere through to come out on the other side. As a matter of fact, those of you who have overcame something, I don't care what it is. I'm not going to call you out. I just want anyone who's overcame anything, whether it's addictions, whether it's you finally got your degree that almost took you out, you got through a terrible, or challenging relationship, or maybe beautiful relationship, but you realized that person was not for you as beautiful as it appeared. Yes, I threw a curve on that one. Most people think that just because you removed yourself from a relationship, meaning that you navigated all the beauties of it, while the exposings of it, were causing a war within you. You knew this was not the one. As beautiful of a spirit that he has, as beautiful of a spirit that she has, as beautiful of a smile that he has, as beautiful of a smile that she has. Personality, both of them have, him, her, him. But you knew something was just not setting right, and not just something was not setting right. You actually started to see some things for yourself. And maybe, the red flag started to wave. Maybe even about you. It may not have been the other person. But you had to make sure that you navigated in removing yourself for the sake of the other person. That was another curve I just threw at y'all. Yeah, it may not have been the other person. It may have been you. You may have realized, I don't want to put him through anything that I'm not ready to be right now. I don't want to put her through anything that I know I'm not ready for at this moment. You may have been the one that removed yourself in a mature manner, navigating that and thus overcoming that pull to want to stay when you knew you needed to go for the greater good of the other, or vice versa, for the greater good of yourself, because you knew that other individual, maybe this wasn't the season for you all to be coexistent together. So when I have to ask the question again, if some of you all have relapsed in some areas, okay? Some of you all may have been procrastinators and excuse me, you've overcame that procrastination, and now you've come out on the other side to where you're persistent. You pretty much don't put off anything on tomorrow what you can do today. I'm going to ask any and everyone that has overcame anything. Now, I think most of us have overcome something, but I'm going to specify. If you've overcome, let's generalize first. If you've overcome anything, period, in life, period, loss of a family member, loss of a mother, father, whatever, loss of your dog. Dogs are still man's best friends. Yes, you lose your dog, and all of a sudden, it's like your whole world has come to an end. That was the only one that would wag their tail, bark, that would lick their, come trying to lick on you because they were happy to see you. Let's be real. You lose your dog, and man, that's like the end of your world, because no one else was going to do that. Your kids weren't going to do it. Your husbands weren't going to do it. Wives, for the most part, maybe weren't going to do it. Mothers, fathers, so forth and so on. But that dog, So let's go there, okay? So if anyone has ever overcome anything, just raise your hands. I think I said make some noise at first, but no, I want this to be a little more intimate, because sometimes when you clap for something that still pains you, though you have navigated on the other side, it kind of gives the depiction that, you're good now, I'm really okay, when you're really not. So I had to change how I wanted you all to respond, and that's why I asked just to raise your hands. Thank you. My goodness. As I thought, that's just about everybody in this amphitheater. Now, if I can just, narrow it down a little bit, to be a little more specific within a particular set time frame. If any of you all have overcame anything in the last, listen to me please, in the last 3 months, that would be what, April, May, June, July, August, the last several months. If you've overcame anything, raise your hands. Wow. Some of you all that raised your hands, when I asked the first question, if you've overcame anything, you raise your hand and then you raise your hands again. I'm sorry, I didn't specify. Yeah, you can raise your hands for each, category that I present. Yes. Last several months. Wow. Okay. If any of you have overcame anything in the last 3 weeks, please hear me what I say. In the last 3 weeks. Whatever it may be or may have been, and it was hard, whatever it was, please raise your hands. It's amazing. Yeah. Some of the hands have actually, have been raised on all 3 categories. It's amazing. If any of you have overcame anything in the last 3 hours, I know that's really narrowing it down. In the last 3, you overcame something in the last 3 hours. Now, you may ask, well, how do you know if you've overcame something in the last 3 hours? If it doesn't mean that it just happened 3 hours ago, whatever it was you overcame. It just means that you finally came to the realization, I'm good now. I got through that particular thing, either that took place, 3 hours ago. Let's be real. It may have taken place 3 weeks ago. But what I'm saying is you knew you had a conscious, response to yourself that you were good now, that you overcame that. But I'm really trying to narrow it down to just something that truly happened in the last 3 hours. So it's kind of a 2-part question. If you've overcame anything in the last 3 hours, okay, but meaning also you could have finally came to the realization you overcame that which was hindering you, that which was trying to sway you, destroy you, weigh you down, and maybe it was over the last 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months you've been struggling with this, but just in the last 3 hours, you finally felt the lift. You felt the lift of some sort. When I say lift, you know when you're lifted, it's funny how it happens. It's almost like a weight, a supernatural weight, an invisible weight that lifts. And you can laugh, you can smile, and not feel that weight. Maybe, I don't know, maybe someone, said they were thinking about you, and it helped to lift you, thus helping you to navigate through, what it was that took place either 3 hours ago or something that happened a while ago, but just within the last 3 hours, you finally have come to grips that your healing has been complete. Wow, not many on that. I get it. That's why I started off broad and ended up narrow. It's the reason that I was asking those questions to everyone in the audience. Yeah, there's a reason. And the reason was to get to this one question right here. In spite of what all many of you have had to endure, have overcame, or plan to overcome, because you have not overcame yet. Please don't take this as an insult, and don't think this to mean that you're weak. No. But the reason I asked these questions was because for those who have not overcame yet, I want them to be encouraged. Because I guess a time when you think that you're the only one that's going through whatever it is that you're going through, while everyone else is fine and no one else has had to go through what you've had to go through. No one else has had to endure what you've had to endure. So the raising of those hands for those who have overcame, it should be a shining hope for you, for those of you who have not overcome and maybe have not overcame any of those things that were asked. That's okay. That's okay. This is a hope-filled message right here. That's one of the reasons I want individuals to raise their hands. I appreciate the honesty on both sides. When I taught in the classrooms, working in the public school sector, I would always ask my students, and I would always, compliment them when they were honest. I'd ask them to raise their hands based on a series of questions that I would ask, similar to what I just did with you all. And every time I would always commend those who raised their hands for the unpopular questions. That's a hard one, man. That's a hard one, ladies and gentlemen. To raise your hands, in reference to a question that is not popular, or a question that no one else is raising their hands, but you have the boldness, the audacity, the strength, the courage to raise yours. I always commended, my students for that. And I'm going to commend you all. Thank you for your honesty. So again, for those who have not overcame anything, and you're right in the middle of it, maybe you're at the beginning of it, maybe you're right at the cusp of overcoming it, but yet you've not crossed that finish line yet. Please, take hope. Look around you of those who raised their hands, because that's a confirmation that if they did it, guess what? It's just a matter of time before you do it. But make no mistake, it takes participation to want to overcome, to navigate. I didn't say it would be easy. I just said it does take participation. It takes participation for us to come out of anything, to go into anything. For us to have anything, for us to lose anything, it takes participation, ladies and gentlemen. So those, again, who did not raise their hands because you're saying, I have not overcome anything. And let's be real, some people are not trying to. Some people want to keep that anger, that bitterness, that frustration locked in. Yes, you want to keep it locked in. Because for some, it feels like it fuels you. And in so many ways it does. But be careful, because we all can be deceived in this, thinking that, I want to stay mad. I want to stay angry. I want to stay lost. I want to stay, doubtful. I want to stay unforgiving. What they did to me, or what this happened, and how that happened. I want to stay, because it makes me who I am. You're doing right. Yeah, it makes you who you are, right? But if not careful, depending on what that thing is that you've not overcame, it will also become you if you're not careful. And I'm not saying this to beat anyone down. I'm saying this because we all are gathered here for something, to receive something, to get something, to release something, to confront something, to expose something. Every last one of us, whether we want to admit it or not. So if we can just do this one more time. Now I'm just going to loop all those categories and questions that I pose. I'm going to loop them all into one for everyone again. If you've overcame anything in the last 3 months, overcame anything in the last 3 weeks, overcame anything in the last 3 hours, overcame anything, period, to raise your hands, will you please raise your hands again? Look at that. Oh my goodness. I so appreciate those whose hands have not gone up, and my heart It truly goes out to you. I appreciate your honesty, both of those categories of people that raise their hands and those who have not. Those who have not raised their hands, please keep your hands up. I'm sorry if I used to tell my students this, if your right hand gets tired, raise your left one. If your left hand gets tired, raise your right one. I coached as well as some of you know. That's why, as the intro was posed, I just prefer to go by Coach Guy. So, yeah, different. Keep them up, please, because I want you all to do this for those who have not overcame anything yet, so they can just look around and see and know, man, it is possible. But mostly it is necessary to overcome, to navigate your way through, to navigate your way out, It is possible, and it is necessary. Just look around again. And those who have their hands up, we're not trying to embarrass anybody, but I hope those who have their hands up are not gloating. I hope those who have their hands up, your heart should also, be drawn to those who do not have their hands up. That's what encouragement comes in. That's why the old proper iron sharpens iron. Let the hands that are being raised, let it sharpen those hands that are not, knowing that you can make your way. You can navigate your way. You can find your way out. But many a times it takes a support system. I thank you all for participating. Y'all can put your hands. Thank you. My mother, who I just recently left, she wanted me to stay. She was trying to get me to stay a little longer, but when I told her, I said, Mom, I gotta literally get back on the road. I didn't tell her for what, but I think I just said something along the lines of, I got some pressing things I have to take care of, prepare for, whatever it was I said to her. And she said it several times, even to some of my other family members. Yeah, I was trying to get kind of, to stay. Mama wanted them to stay, and a part of me did too. It did, but I knew I had more important things, such as this right here, to get to. And I'm so grateful to God that I was able to get to this, to you, to this moment. I thank my mother, but I bring my mother up again because, we can hardly navigate anything, overcome anything without any help. I want y'all to understand that, and I know you do. I'm not trying to take everyone back to elementary school, but in some ways I am. Sometimes we have to go back to the basics. You have to have a support system, hopefully a supporting cast. And I didn't say a supporting cast of those who are just yes men, yes women. Everything you do, say, yeah, it's okay, girl. Yeah, it's okay, boy. No. When I say a supporting cast, those who will support you in truth. So if you are going awry, if you're going backwards when you need to be going forward, or if you're going forward when you need to be going backwards, those accountability partners, if you want to call them that, they will make you aware in love. You understand? They will tell you, I love you, bro. I love you, sis. But hey, what you doing here? That's a supporting cast. That's a true supporting cast. A true support system. And my mother, make no mistake, she's seen, me, her children, she's seen us go through hell. Some of the hells were of our own doing, but she still saw us through it. I'm not going to stand here before you all and talk as if, things just always happen to me just because they happen. No. I was the culprit of a lot of those things happening. Of my own volition, I was the one that made these things happen. To where my mother, did what she does best, still loving on you, praying for you, and helping you physically, spiritually, all those things. That's a support cast, a support system. So that's why I say it's very hard to try to overcome some of these things if you do not have the proper support system to navigate your way through and to navigate your way in and out, so to overcome that which had held you bound, that which had hold of you. You all in this amphitheater, I can tell that you're hungry for something. You're hungry for truth, and I'm just grateful that and blessed that I'm able to stand here and give you truth, whether you like the truth or not. I don't think any of us would be here if we did not want to hear the ultimate truth. I'm not talking about a custom-made truth now. We live in an era now where things are custom-made now. You can customize whatever truth you want to. What I'm saying? I stole, I don't know, I stole that person's car because I needed it to get to work. And you justify that as truth. And then you have support people who get on Instagram, Facebook, these social media platforms that say, you know what I'm saying? And it's like no one is calling you out. The fact that, dude, you just stole somebody's car. They walked out of wherever they were coming from and came to space. Not to their vehicle, but to space. Because you had removed their vehicle. And people will literally customize what they consider true. And I'm amazed when I see this. Because what happens is when you do have someone who's looking around, I know because I've been in this situation, I'm like, did I mishear what I just heard? He just said that he stole someone's car and he's getting applauded for it. Not that he went and stole his car back, which I can't say that there's such a thing. How are you going to steal something back that was initially yours? Now, if you sold it to someone, they paid for it, and then you go and you take it. Now, yeah, you stole something that was no longer yours because you actually received, monies, for that particular thing, or you had an agreement to where that particular item or thing belonged to them. Now, no longer yours. No, I'm talking about you haven't signed any agreement. No one has paid you any money, and you come out and see your car stolen. Or better yet, the person that stole the car saw that, okay, the keys are left in it, or whatever the case was, and they saw an opportunity and they took it, and they're getting applauded by it. That's a customized truth, ladies and gentlemen. That's a customized truth. And so when someone like me, and I'm sure some of you others, you call that out, whether it's on any social media platform, you say, is everyone serious? Is this a joke? Why are y'all commending him for taking and stealing this car? Bro, that was wrong, man. What are you trying to prove here? And now you're considered a hater. I've seen that happen. I have seen that happen. And I'm like, what? It's amazing. You can continue to lie long enough, believing the truth long enough, even if it's not the truth, but it is your customized relative truth that you start to truly believe it. Oh my goodness, you truly start to believe it. So but going back to what I was saying initially, your support cast should not be anyone that supports your foolishness. Supports your deceptions, supports your lies, supports the pain that you bring upon others. No, I'm not talking about that type of support system. And unfortunately, I see a lot of those support systems. That's why I said true supporting cast, true support systems. And many of you have those supporting cast already. Some of you had them, but you removed them because you didn't like how they were always checking you on something. Bro, sis, that means that you just let something valuable go. Because you didn't like the truth that they were continuously confronting you about. That's a true one. But you can't properly navigate through anything and come out on the other side without some level of support. Some supporting cast, some individual or individuals who will help you weather whatever storms you need to weather. And so to those of you, again, who have overcame and overcome, and those of you who have not overcome or overcame, if you have a true friend, this was on my mind as I was traveling throughout this weekend, but if you have a true friend, even if that friend cannot help you tangibly, physically, but you have a true friend that will always lend you an ear, lend you support, hurt when you hurt, get upset when you're upset. Not that both of y'all gonna go out here and burn somebody's house down, but I'm just saying, desire what you desire. That's healthy. That in that they realize that you are hurting about this, and they're there for you. Oh my goodness, you got your winner. That one person can be your supporting cast. Take heed to that. So for any of you all that may have removed yourself from those that you knew truly had your best interest at heart, let's be real. They may not agree with everything that you said, but they had your best interest at heart. Come on. Find your way back to them. Because you're going to need that support. It's going to hurt. That's what happens when you have true supporters of your vision, or true supporters who know who you truly are, and they don't like when you're truly false. True friends come in when everyone else is walking out. True friends walk in when everyone else is walking out. True friends actually fight when everyone else is fleeing. You better know what you have and hold on to that, to which is trying to possess you in truth, honor, love, and support. That's a true supporting cast. True ones. I see even the dog agrees with me. Keep barking, Rover. Keep barking. Yes, those of you who look, and Rover knows. Rover knows, even as I'm speaking on this, having a true supporting cast, talking about even man's best friend, your dogs. Rover hadn't barked this whole message thus far, and as soon as I start touching bases on what a true supporting cast is, a true friend is, Rover begins. You can't make this stuff up. Yes, Rover. I should just sit down and let Rover continue and finish this message. Now, if you'll be able to comprehend him, I don't know, unless we have some dog whisperers here. Wow. That's a support team system. That's a true one. Man's best friend, even. Thank you, Rover, for hearing me and supporting me in this. Wow. The true friends bark for you when no one else is barking. Oh my. Yes. I hope y'all hear this. So being able to overcome anything, it will take a collective effort, you know. You can only go so far by yourself. What's that old African proverb? If you want to get somewhere fast, go alone. If you want to if you want to go far, go together. That's a powerful proverb, African proverb, and it's so true. I've been guilty. I truly have over the years where I said I can do this on my own, and did to a certain extent. May have gotten to where I needed to go faster, but then it capped off right there, and there was no progression thereafter because I wasn't partnered with other individuals of like-mindedness, to go farther. Or I felt like it because it was a pride thing too. I can do this by myself. I can do this by myself. And like I said, I did to a certain extent. That's why that old African proverb reigns true to this day and will forever reign true. If you want to go somewhere fast, get somewhere fast, go alone. Yeah, because when you do have more, yes, it takes a while, But if you want to get somewhere farther, if you want to go farther, go together. There are many, outcomes we find ourselves, find ourselves getting through into. Some of us find our ways in overcoming whatever those things are, through again having a good supporting cast. Some of us get through a lot of these challenges, these wilderness experiences, by finding faith, in the deity that is above all deities. Some of us actually find our ways navigating and overcoming, because we have additional help. Sometimes there's unseen help we have no knowledge of, don't even know. That's why it's always good just to give thanks. It's always good to give thanks. And I know some of you all are aware of this. You can give thanks to the highest deity in the universe, even if you've seen nothing from this deity, meaning nothing tangible from this deity. That helps you to overcome. Sometimes, praying even, for those of you who actually have a praying spirit, you pray to overcome. Praying for the strength to help you navigate. Praying for the endurance to help you hold a little while longer. Yes. Praying for these things that you cannot do yourself, navigate on your own. This is a hard pill to swallow, especially for those who are self-reliant. I get it. It's good to be independent. But we're talking about the things that you must have in your life to sustain you, to hold you, to preserve you, in order for you to overcome. So again, in all my travels this past weekend, going to and fro, and honestly, just weighing a lot of options, not even able to sort through the things that I was just boggled down with, But I also realized that even though I don't have all of the answers, I know if you have a level or a measure of faith, that the answers may not be received right away, but if you just keep taking that one step in front of the other, then a guiding light will be found. But understand, notice I said a guiding light, not a deceptive light.
Not a darkening light.
For any of us who are trying to overcome anything, there must be a guiding light. Some of your friends are like that guiding light, that God put in place. That's a guiding light. Some of you all have family members. I just spoke on my mother. My mother is here on earth is like our guiding light. Some of you have coaches that are your guiding light, spouses that are your guiding light. Some of you all even have children that are your guiding light. God can use whomever and whatever he needs to use to be and serve as our guiding light to overcome. If this message, I hope this delivery is paper cutting you, good. If this message that I'm delivering is severely cutting you, great. Because that means it's deeper. A severe cut normally goes deeper, wider, longer. That means there'll always be a scar prevalent years down the road that will remind you of how you were cut. And in this particular message, I'm pertaining this to words that have cut you, truths that have cut you, because they have cut me and still cut me. I still have the proverbial, scars that you can't see for the most part, but those scars are there. They're there. They're there. And so before, I get ready to remove myself from the base of all of you that stand above me, sit above me, which I truly like. I love this. A thought came to me, and I journal a lot. Been journaling for years. For those of you who do not know, to journal simply means journey. That's what journaling means. Journaling means journeying. And I've been writing my journey in my journals for years. And so while, again, traveling, I kid you not, I think I came to a rest stop for a moment, and I just started pondering over some things. And I want to leave you all with this before stepping away from this baseline. Those of you who may not know how you're going to come out of whatever it is you're going to come out of. Those of you who are trying to figure out how to overcome whatever it is you're trying to overcome. Maybe this is what I shared in my own personal space and in my journal, and with my God. This is what I wrote pertaining to me, Kai. I know not what's to be the outcome of all this, whatever your this is, but I know I am to come out of this, whatever your this is, as pure gold. So let me say that again, but this time I'm going to give you the revised version that I wrote down and, place, markers by, stars by, X's by, because when it came to my mind, my spirit, then my mouth, it then went on my papyrus, my paper, in my journal with my pen in hand. Because sometimes life is full of questions. The seasons that we're in are full of questions. But even in the midst of all those questions, I just truly hope and believe in, and even pray that there's always, thanksgivings that are also laced in those questions, We have to remember the mysteries are for the Almighty. These mysteries are for Him. He says this, the mysteries are for me to worry about. The revelations are for you to worry about. In other words, what are mysteries to us, He knows, but whatever are not mysteries to Him, we know, because He's decided to make us aware. So there's always still, even in your questions, may there be some laces of thanksgivings for what you do understand or what you may not understand, but by faith, you just hope and believe that which you do not understand, you will continue to walk in the direction of understanding. It's a difference. That which you do not understand, and of course, that which you are understanding in the process. And so this is what I wrote as the final cut of my journaling exploration that I was mentioning a couple minutes ago. This is what I journal. I know not the outcome of all this, but I at least know what is to come out of all this. Pure gold. Pure refined gold. Pure untainted gold. And when I say pure gold, that gold could be just a clump of gold that has not been molded and shaped, but is untainted gold that can be shaped in the manner that it needs to be shaped. I know not again, for once has it been spoken, twice told that it may be heard. I know not the outcome of all of this, but I at least know what is to come out of all of this. Pure, refined, untainted gold. There are so many impurities that we will continue to have in our lives that have to be tested, that have to be burned away, pruned away. My late pops, Jimmy Freeman, he would prune, the trees in the yard at the right time for the right season. And I learned this from him coming up. If you pruned, your fruit trees at the wrong time, you can mess around here and kill that fruit tree, or at least kill the branch that was producing the fruit from that particular tree. Or if it wasn't producing anything, you had to know when and learn when to prune it. prune it, cutting back. That's what that means, you know. So even though you may come out, and when you come out on the other side as pure, untainted, gold, then you can be molded in whatever shape of quality that is befitting of you. But there's a process. There is a process, and we all have to endure it. And we'll endure it, especially when we have the necessary supporting cast, supporting members to hold us up when we are falling, both in the natural and in the spiritual. Again, you know, traveling here and being fortunate to deliver this to you all, it has been a blessing in so many ways. It really has. And even this message has really blessed me because I'm the one that's presenting it. But not just that, even if I wasn't the one presenting it and it was one of you all in this amphitheater presenting it, I would still be moved and cut. Remember? Paper cut or severely cut by your word, by your message, by your delivery, by your presentation. Let him that hath an ear hear what has been said, what has been spoken, for your building and for your overcoming, so that you can overcome and then look back and say, I overcame. Lastly, again, I know not the outcome of all this, but at least I know what is to come out of all this. Pure gold. This has been an honor, and I'm just so privileged to have made it, to have been here, to have experienced all the wonders of this area, and even the people. And I look forward to hopefully talking to some of you, if not all of you afterwards. I wish I had books to say. I have books over there, and I'll give you a signed copy, but I'm not rocking like that yet. I don't know if I ever will. But I just want to thank everyone again for allowing me to invade your space. And your presence invading my space, for once hasn't been spoken, twice told that it may be heard. Thank you.
Not all who wander are lost.